Good afternoon, students. We are going to talk about an interesting topic on economics, concept of utility. I believe all of you know what is utility.
Yes, sir.
I believe all of you know what is utility.
Yes.
Now, what is utility? Who can give us the scope of utility, the word utility? Alright.
Utility may be defined as the amount of satisfaction a consumer derives from the consumption of a commodity.
Accurate. Any other idea? Who again? Any other idea? Any other word? Now, utility is pointing at a view of amount of commodity that a consumer derives on the consumption of a product at a given period of time. Take for instance, in our society, utility is our daily routine. Everybody practices consumption. Am I communicating?
Yes,
A process whereby someone consumes a product, there will be a derive of satisfaction. Now, see the definition in the board. Are you taking the notes? The total satisfaction has to take place at a given period of time. Having knowing that, it will be well understand for the terminologies of economics to know that utility is talking about consumption. The another name of utility is what? Consumption. Now we are going to look to the variables that categorize utility that make it well easier. I want to ask a question. What Mr. A desire, is it equal to what Mr. B desire?
No.
How? Why? Reason is that because the desire of Mr. A might not be the desire of Mr. B. That is, utility has to do with relative. Utility has to do with the relative choice of the customers or the consumers. Your desire, your choice, your wants, your wishes is different from other people. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Now, Monday, your choice of yes might not be the same choice of what's the name? Judith. Am I communicating? Now, we have how many types of utility? 3. Name them.
Utility, place utility, and time utility.
Number 1 is what? Form. Number 2 is what? Place. 3 is what?
Time utility.
Time. Now, who can elaborate or give us the standard structure of form utility? You know, when we are talking about form, we are talking about changing. Are you getting me? Then who can give me, who can define, who can tell us what is form utility? Who can help us? Think.
Form utility refers to the form or structure of changing a commodity, like turning, if you have a flour, you turn it to bread.
Thank you. A form utility is talking about restructuring the commodity during manufacturing process. Take for instance, the transformation of some raw material to another concept of commodity is called form utility. According to how you said, a form, a changing or a instruction of changing a commodity from what? Flour to bread is known as what? Form utility. Am I communicating? Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, place utilities is giving us the idea of location, moving a product where there is less utility to where people need such products. You know, in the northern region, moving a commodity from where? Moving a cattle from the north down to the west is what? Place utility. Am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
To the place where people needed it the most. Now, when we talk about time utility, who can define time utility for me? Who can tell us what is time utility? Remember, utility is talking about the total satisfaction that a consumer derives for consumption of a commodity. Now, having known the form and the place, I believe in your own initiative, you'll be able to know what is time. So, who can help us? Time utility. Huh? Try.
Time utility refers to the amount of satisfaction a consumer derives from the product.
Thank you. An accuracy of time has to be arranged in utility. The position that you stand at a given period of time to consume a commodity is known as what? Time utility. It refers as the satisfaction individual, company, firm, cooperative society, any kind derived for consumption of a commodity at a particular period of time. Whenever you are eating food for a case study, I think the satisfaction you derive from consuming that food at that particular moment has to do with time. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Now we are going to look at the variables that categorize utility. I'm talking about the utility concept. And I believe all of you know what is the concept of utility.
Yes.
Who can tell me the concept of utilities?
Sir, total utility,
Total utility.
marginal utility,
Total utility.
marginal utility,
Marginal.
and average utility.
And average. Now, utility has their variables that categorize them, that makes them well known to customer to relate with. Psychologically, the total utility refers to the total amount of unit of commodity that someone, person, individual derive from consuming a commodity. Having known the fact, you will be able to describe the total utility from marginal utility. Am I communicating?
Yes,
When we're talking
sir.
about total utility, when you take a cup of water and you drink that cup of water and drop the cup, the total satisfaction of that water you derive is to saturate your digestion. Am I communicating?
Yes.
It will reach to a point of saturation. That is, you are satisfied. It's known as total utility. Am I communicating? Now, when you are eating a food, you take one spoon, you take the second spoon, it's known as what? Marginal. Marginal utility is pointing an arrow as a unit of a commodity added as an extra unit of consumption of a commodity. Take for instance, when you are eating a food, as I said before, when you eat one spoon, you should be able to know that the kind of hunger or the kind of offset of hunger that you are feeling has decreased. Then the additional or extra unit that someone added in terms of consumption is known as marginal utility. Having known the difference between marginal and form utility, I believe you are able to satisfy the directions and the meaning of utility.
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Any question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.